All right, what's up, everybody? This is your girl, Shantanique Langston, better known as Neek Speaks. Welcome to our final episode of Candid Conversations for 2023. Of course, I'm always excited when I come on to speak to you all. And so tonight is very special because we are soft launching all of the events and services that we are providing in 2024. And so tonight, I have all of the returning speakers who've been rocking with me for a minute, who are going to be blessing us tonight. We're giving you guys a sneak peek into 2024 and what we're going to be doing. So I'm excited. Thank you all for being here tonight. So I'm not going to delay the time. I'm going to go ahead and have everyone introduce themselves, who you are, what you do by day, what you're gifted to do, and all that good stuff. And something like a fun fact about yourself that nobody know about. So, Deanne, you want to be first? Yo, you made that
I
face.
know, because I'm like, a fun fact. I'm always terrible with those things. Okay, so hey everybody. My name's Deanne McGowan. I'm a clinical social worker. I work full time at the VA as a therapist, and I do private practice therapy in the evenings. A fun fact: I'm double jointed in both arms. That's all I
I
got.
have a student that's like that, and it drives me crazy when
It's a
she trying to
stretch.
explain herself and she starts doing this weird thing. I'm like, stop, just talk.
It's a good stretch.
And Vanessa already know who I'm talking about. Sorry to T. Who want to be brave and go next? Lewis, y'all might as well go ahead.
Okay, my name is Lewis Carter, senior. I'm assistant principal by day. A fun fact that many may not know about me is I kind of understand the concept of music theory. Um, I got my buddies say I understand music theory very well, but I do understand music theory.
All right. Good evening, everyone. My name is Vanessa Carter. I am a director of academics during the day. A fun fact about me is that nobody knows.
You can double dutch.
I can double dutch. I can double dutch.
Well, our students couldn't even, they don't even know how to jump in. Dre,
I can double
can you
dutch.
imagine that, Dre?
Nope.
They can't jump in. I
That was
jumped in
unreal.
the gym the other day and they laughed at me. They was like, "Oh, Mr. Carter." They don't know what they missing, Dre.
I don't know. And I guess I'll go next. I am Andre Charlie. I am a private practice owner and clinical therapist by day. And fun fact about me, I'm really an introvert. I'm really quiet and a homebody. I really am. Louis Fish Face.
Hey everybody, can everyone hear me? Okay, perfect. My name is Antonina, but I go by Nina. I have a multimedia company, but I mainly focus on mental health. So I'm a big advocate, a big advocate on that. And I do trauma release time to time. That's how I met Neek. And a fun fact about me is I'm very athletic. I can play pretty much any sport, and I turned out to be pretty good at it.
Does that leave me? I'm Dwayne Williams Jr., everybody. I hail from the greatest city in America, Baltimore, Maryland. And I serve as a director of community relations for one of the biggest nonprofits in my city. So grateful to be here. I'm sharing the social media as we speak to make sure that everyone comes in and join us. So if you're watching tonight already, make sure you tag and share some people in to join us tonight. Grateful to be here.
All right, so I guess that leaves me, or you already told you guys who I am. So a fun fact about me that no one knows, that I used to play piano. It's been a minute. I'm a little rusty, but but
But
I
I
play.
but
Hey, Leon
hey,
just joined
Leon
us,
just
so
joined
he's
us, so he's
on.
on.
I have an echo
I
going
have
on.
an
What's
echo
going
going on.
on?
What's going on?
Do you guys hear
Leon
that?
got Leon got
Leon
to
got to
turn
turn
his
his
sound
sound
down,
down.
or somebody got to.
Yeah.
There you
There
go.
you
See
go. See
that?
that?
You can't
You
hear
can't
us?
hear us?
No, we
No,
can
we
hear
can hear
you.
you.
Leon has
Leon has
the
the
he has
he
the
has the
sound up
sound up
somewhere.
somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Y'all bear with us with the technical difficulties we're having right now.
I can hear
Okay,
y'all
Leon.
now.
Okay, you couldn't hear us at first.
No, I was connected to my Bose speaker. When I connected to that speaker, it won't let me go through, so I disconnected that. I'm good. Sorry, I'm late.
Okay, good.
My little
All right.
son
Well, you can.
popped up. Go ahead.
Oh no, it's okay. So before we move on, tell the people who you are, what you do by day, and a fun fact about that no one knows.
Leon Walker, retired Navy, served 32 years, retired 2015. Divorced, have 3 kids, 4 godkids, and 1 granddaughter. A fun fact that people don't know about me is that I still suck my teeth. Y'all might hear it when I talk. I just did it a few seconds ago. So it's it's something I learned in therapy too. So we can talk about it one day if y'all want to. But amongst other things, I'm a comedian. You know, I like to laugh, I like to eat great food. But I have a problem with sucking my teeth. It's a bad, 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 bad habit.
Well, we appreciate you sharing that with us. He's always vulnerable and sharing his life with us. So we appreciate that, Leon. So without further ado, we're going to go right into our first game. So it's called red flag, white flag, green flag. So I'm going to say a few phrases and I want you all to chime in to what you think. If it's a red flag, if it's a white flag or a green flag, those who are watching us by stream, don't be afraid, jump in. The more you engage with us, I may have something at the end for you. So the first one is the lack of trust. Is that a red flag, white flag, or a green flag?
Red
Red flag.
flag.
Red flag.
Red.
Red.
Okay. All right. The next one. Now this is heavy. Codependency. Codependency. Is that a red flag, a white flag, or a green flag?
Red.
Red.
Yeah, I might get
Red.
red.
Codependency.
Uh oh, somebody don't come on. Somebody think differently? No? Okay. The next one is
I didn't hear the. I
how
didn't
can
hear the.
I go ahead. You said
I
what?
didn't hear. I didn't hear the question.
Okay, so the next one was codependency. Is that a red flag, white flag, or green flag?
Is it a white flag? Is white flag like victory?
I think yes.
It's
You on mute?
It's like neutral.
no
Oh, it's
neutral. Like
neutral.
you're
So what? So what the
yeah.
color? I
Caution?
know what red mean. What's white?
Would you say maybe caution?
It could be cautious.
It's like a caution. I would say it's caution. Like a
So
white
can we?
flag.
So what's the color of the flags? Can we know that?
Yeah, that's what I say. Yeah.
Because that's what we don't know. We don't
Okay,
know the
so we know the
color.
red flag is stop, do not cross go, do not collect $200. It's a whole no. We know that red means no. Green means yes. White means I would say white means mutual. It could be a place of compromise. That's why when I think of white flag, it could be a place of
Okay.
compromise. Anyone else have something different?
No, we got you. We just needed a codependency. I don't know. I think it's a I don't know. I'm gonna say it's a white flag. It's neutral. There's a time for it. There's a time not for it.
Okay. The next one is a question. How can I love you in this season of our lives? Is that a red flag, a white flag, or a green flag, and why?
It it
Green
depends on
flag.
who. It depends on who's asking that. The dynamics of the relationship, because it could be a green flag, a red flag, or it could be all three, depending upon who it is asking that question. The person.
That's true.
And the context. Like, what are we
Context
talking about?
Yeah.
The
in the
marriage.
stage in which we are in.
Yeah.
Yeah,
If we got 30
definitely.
years in, you lost because you're asking me.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. Those are good answers. I would definitely say that it depends on the season where you are because again, as you grow and develop, Lewis and Vanessa have been married going on what 25 years?
25 years
It's
next year.
25 years next year. So every 5 years, the relationship is shifting. So there's a you're learning each other. Something's going to happen down the road where the love language is going to change. So I don't want to go into too much into that. We got a lot to talk about tonight. The next one is a phrase: emotionally intelligent.
Green flag all
Great,
day.
Emotional
Green.
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 Green
Green.
all day.
definitely.
Green.
Okay, all right.
Every,
So
everybody.
this So this goes right into my first question. We're talking about unhealthy relationships. So what do you think is the leading cause of unhealthy relationships today? Anyone can chime in. Nina, go ahead.
I would say people not knowing how to be by themselves. So they rush into these relationships looking for themselves in other people besides spending that time by themselves and actually getting to know who they are and what they want and don't want.
I would
The
say two parts to that: unrealistic expectations and lack of communication.
yeah, very good. I would add to that the lack of being self-aware and how your issues affect yourself and others.
I would say, can y'all hear me?
Yeah, you
Yes.
coming through great, my guy.
Okay, cool. Not only not knowing the person, but not knowing the person's pedigree, their parents,
Hmm.
because you don't know what's passed down to people. And when you get to meet a person, you're gonna find out a whole lot of bad things about people. You're gonna find some good things. They want you to see more good than bad, but those negative traits are going to come out. They can't hide it. And I was a prime example of that. But getting to not only not knowing that person, but you don't know what's passed down to them genetically.
I definitely agree with that. I know something that I've learned too. You will think you know yourself and you didn't did the work, but when you get with someone, every person bring out a different version of yourself.
Yep,
So it's being able to have the capacity to deal with yourself when dealing with another individual as well,
yep.
which is something that I've learned from my own personal experience.
You know, I was surprised. I thought somebody was gonna say this by now. The biggest word got to be the C word, and that's compromise. You know, one of the most leading cause of unhealthy relationship, low key, saying this is weird, is individuality. I think there's a time to have individuality, but individuality without understanding how to compromise within individuality causes a dysfunction for unity. And I think everybody wants individuality, but low key want unity, and trying to make both of them come together without understanding how to do both of them has been I think one of the most unhealthiest things ever. You got a person who's like, yeah, I know how I am. That's great. Don't erase that. However, do you know how to be who you are with someone else? And I think that's been probably one of the most unhealthiest things ever is people don't really want compromise. People want to turn people into being what they need them to be as if there's some kind of magical trick. Like you're gonna be bread when I'm hungry, water when I'm thirsty. And the reality of it is like, nah, they're gonna be them, you're gonna be you, but we're going to pan this out together so that we can have great unity in what we're trying to accomplish.
Yeah, I agree with that to a certain extent because I feel like if you have a sense of self, you will know what's you. And if you're not rocking with something that somebody is trying to tell you, you gonna be able to love yourself enough to say, hey, I respect that that's something that you want to do, but that's just not me. And you're going to be okay with that because you already have that agreement within yourself. So that's why I think a lot of people go back to just having that self awareness or that level of self love before you even get with a person. Because then when you're getting with a person, you already have certain boundaries set, like the basic boundary set. And when you get with a person, there are new boundaries that need to be built because now you're dealing with a totally different individual. You're not just dealing with yourself. So that's how I said what I said.
Yeah, and just to kind of piggyback off of that with the whole self-awareness, like when you're self-aware, you know the good, the bad, and the ugly about you. And you know the things that you need to work on and the things that you should be actively working on. So, not only your perception of yourself, but like, how you see yourself in this world, how you interact with other people in this world. Like self-awareness is definitely key because
Yeah,
that's kind of like the basis of the relationship with yourself can determine the relationship with other people.
definitely.
Lewis,
I was going to say earlier, when I thought about this, I looked at the questions. One of the biggest problems with that creates unhealthy relationships is ignorance, ignorance of self, as well as ignorance of the individual that you're entering into a relationship with. I think so many times in relationships, people concentrate on trying to be together without really sometimes doing the grunt work of understanding who they are or dealing with a person, communicating with a person to find out who the other individual is and what's their potential and everything else. I think sometimes we miss vital moments in relationships of getting to know each other, and we jump past that until we into a situation. And after being in a situation, you realize, wait a minute, this is not who I thought it was, or I am not who I thought it was at that moment. I think ignorance is a huge part of creating unhealthy relationships.
this is good. I don't want to add on to, but I will say that we do not pray before we get into something because a lot of times we just, oh, for convenience, we want to be with someone. Um, I like this person a lot. I'm guilty of that. Like, Lord, if he the one, tell me. And then he say, no, what I don't want to hear is like, Lord, please, like, I'm gonna ignore what the Lord is saying because we all done it. I've ignored them many times, and yeah, it landed me nowhere. So I think that's a big thing too when it comes to friendships, when it comes to romantic partners. It's across the board. We have to be very aware, like you guys said earlier, about the relationships that we are looking to form. So I'm gonna go into the next question. This is a heavy one, is hookup culture. And then, of course, I want us to break down what that looks like because not everybody know what hookup culture means. But is hookup culture replacing marriage? And could this be a trauma response? This is a question I did post on social media. So I want to hear what you guys have to say about that.
In our community, the Black community, what I see a lot of us competing against each other. We don't have a common ground. We argue, we fight a lot. If you look on social media, you see a lot of panels, a lot of discussions, but it's the men over here and the women over here, and we never come together as like love and unity and things like that. You really don't see other races fighting like that on social media. You don't. You know, we look at how we did Will and Jada, and then we did Kwame Brown picking with him. Now they picking with Dwight Howard, and now it's Puffy. I'm not saying that they're not wrong, but we constantly go after each other. We constantly put each other down. We constantly hate on each other. We do. We do it all day. If you look on social media, you see a bunch of platforms talking about black relationships, but we're not getting anywhere. We're not. You know, you don't see people being married for 10, 15, 20 years. It's rare. 25 years, it's rare. You see a lot of people fighting. You see a lot of people getting killed, murdered because of cheaters, because of spreading diseases, not paying child support, not paying out. I'm not saying we're the only race that has this problem, but predominantly we have a lot of the problems that we see today. I just think that.
But I think the dynamics of how we view relationships have changed with the onset of social media.
Big time.
Or in reality TV, it has marred what we know as a wholesome, solid relationship. Remember, prior to social media, we had Bill Cosby and Camille Cosby, Ozzy and Ruby Davis. So we had some people who were representing positive relationships. But as time progressed, social media has kind of marred what dynamic relationships are. And so those who represent Black excellence are pushed to the background.
Yep.
And popularity and financial standings has been pushed to the forefront. And what I've come to realize is, for all of us that's on this platform, they cannot, reality TV and what's advertised, they're not doing it for us.
Nope, they won't either.
Because we make up the 11% of African Americans who have succeeded, who are educated. So what they're pushing is not for us. So often, many times, it does not even appeal to us. One of my friends said, because we were talking about reality TV one time, not to get on a tangent, he said, at the end of the day, man, that's not for you. He said, even commercials are not for you, because you know what kind of car you want to drive. You know where you want to live at. You know what kind of food you want to eat. So those things are not geared towards us. As well as power couples, what they put in front of us, that's not geared towards us. But the people coming behind us, that's geared towards them.
And that's why I think a lot of times you see that hookup culture based on what's happening on social media. You know, what's popular.
I would add that even that is definitely true. But before we had the social media, we had hip hop. We had all of the influences, the fast living, the money, the glamour, the fame, all of that. So people going into relationships with the common person wasn't realistic to them, when really their fantasy was real, but it really wasn't. So therefore you were holding your partner to unrealistic expectations. So I'm gonna move on to the next, because you don't have what it is that this person have, and the drug dealer may have it, but he ain't trying to wife you up. So you're sitting there going from man to man, looking for something to be made the trophy piece, and you're not actually being chosen, because now everyone else is getting a piece of the pie and everybody else is doing this, and no relationships are being sustained because they aren't looking for love, looking for a good time, looking for fantasies, looking for the quick action, influences of money, influences of porn, influences of dress, fashion, all of that comes into play, that goes against the wholesome person that's going to be in a committed relationship. More and more people are not looking to God, being in church. They got their own mind. They make their own way. It's the universe now, and it's all about them. And they are self-made. They made it. It was them. Nobody else did it but them. So all of these things play into the fact of why our marriages and families are being attacked, and nobody is having a good sense of understanding that those are different things that has been coming against, especially people of color, for decades.
Yes, you, Andre, you went exactly where I was trying to go. I think that it's more of a systemic issue. I think the fact that things are on social media and any type of media is just that we can see it faster, so it can spread faster. That message that has been put in place to systemically like impact Black families or families of color. Like I think that it's much bigger and it was designed to be that way. So now that we have a such thing as a hookup culture, it is important to see those positive images of healthy love, healthy relationships. Those are the things that need to be pushed a little bit more. Although we know like the drama of it all, the like, porn, all that type of stuff, that's gonna be pushed much quicker and we're going to receive it much quicker, but just like that we need to push out the positivity. Like we, where there's dark, there's always light present. There's going to be light present, and if we got to be the light, then so be it.
And that is why we're having this conversation tonight. Those who have just joined us, welcome to another episode of Candid Conversations. Tonight, we're just giving you guys a sneak peek into what we're going to be doing in 2024. Our title or our theme for the year to come is Overcoming Generational Trauma. And one thing about I want to stress to everybody is that take your time to heal. That is one thing that Nina has taught me during my healing journey, is to take your time and to give yourself grace. When you start to give yourself grace, then you begin to start to appreciate yourself and then the people around you. There are so many things I want to go into when it comes to that, but we have to take our time and get some of this stuff right, especially when it comes to managing our trauma, because it's there. It's not going to go anywhere. It's not going to go anywhere. It's there. We have to learn how to go through the process. Nobody like process. I always say this. I preach it all the time. We don't like process. We like microwave. But when it comes to a healthy relationship, that takes time to build, especially with the relationship with yourself. And this is why we are here tonight. And I hope I make y'all sick in 2024, because I am pouring out everything that is of God when it comes to relationships and how we should do this thing right. And I'm tired of seeing this whole mess on social media. Like I had to stop following a lot of people because of what I was seeing, and was vexing me. So, Dwayne, did you want to add anything to this before we move on to the next question?
No, I don't really have much to add to it. I will dissect it from this place. I think trauma responses are going to come from a lot of different places. Um, you know what I will not do is blame everything on the devil or blame everything on the white man. At some point in time, we as people have to take some ownership for ourselves. And if I'm smart enough to get a degree, then I'm smart enough to make some changes in my own life. I'm smart enough to know right and wrong, then I'm smart enough to know some other things as well. But it's very simple for me. Yes, the hookup culture is replacing marriage, and a lot of that has everything to do with the options that we have as people. I will be the first to tell you this. Uh, the word dating is not a biblical word. It is our cultural slash human slash flesh word, whatever word you want to put there, and it means to collect data. With that being said, I think that everybody has a right at some point to collect data cleanly, right, righteously, cleanly. Um, but I think we've gotten so used to that collecting data place that we don't look for any of the next steps that come past collecting data. And so the hookup culture has replaced it in such a way because if I don't want chocolate today, I can have vanilla tomorrow, and if vanilla get on my nerves today, I'll have chocolate tomorrow. Or I'm making metaphorically speaking here, but yeah, it has. And so I pray that people grow past it, that people see the value in what relationships do. But I think you can only see that once you see the relationship, the value in the relationship that you and God have, and then you can see the value in relationships that everyone else bring, between mother and father, son and daughter, down the line, sibling to sibling, all the way down the line.
Why are you preaching half the conference for next year? You shouldn't be doing that, Dwayne. Some of the stuff you're sharing, we're going to be covering during the conference. But that was good. Nina, you have something you want to add before we move on? I'm gonna have
Uh,
Dwayne go right after because I don't want to delay the time.
okay. I just one thing that he said that I wanted to touch on that's just big. Having a relationship with God is having a relationship with yourself. If you don't have a relationship with God first, there's no way you can have a relationship with anyone else. And it's really that simple. Like the more you know God, the more you know all of his creations. So that's what I'm like big on too. So I definitely agree with Dwayne for sure.
All right, Dwayne, you go ahead and take it away. I was going to ask this last question, but I'm gonna
No,
just hold out.
you don't want to ask the last question? Let me
Let me
go
ask the
ahead.
last question. Let me ask. Oh
Go
wait,
ahead.
Andre, you have something you want to add? No. Okay, let me ask this question. I don't want nobody, no men to be like, "What you mean?" Okay, fellas, how do you deal with rejection from a woman? Let's go laugh. Tell the truth.
Leon, and y'all want to go first?
Why you got? Why you?
No,
This
you
is
go
a
first.
It
I
was
don't,
that laugh.
I don't, I don't have rejection because I stay within my lane. So if you stay within your lane, you never get rejected.
Come on now, Lewis.
I'm just saying, I stay within my parameters.
I think as a man, um, rejection is a part of life.
For sure.
Um, and unfortunately, what we see play out many times is the negative effects of being rejected because a lot of men are underdeveloped. And so there are things that we think that they should have when they arrive at a certain age, but if they have not been taught, how can they have the skill set or tools necessary to overcome rejection? One of the things I've discovered is that if you know who you are, rejection can fall off you like rain does, like water does in the rain. Um, so I think it comes down to a man being mature and knowing who he is and who he is not. Because often many times what we're rejected from, if we really look at it deeply, is something that may not even be good for us. Talk to me, Dre.
So very good, man. Um, Good question too. Men, it should be expected that we're going to get rejected at times. You don't want to stay in your comfort zone and just say, "Well, I'm just going to be here and that's all. That's it," because you're never going to grow. You're never going to be challenged. You're going to try to take your step out and move to whether it be a person you're interested in, whether it be a business partner, whether it be something that you want to engage in. We're going to get rejected, but you may also be the one that be accepted. And that's something that we have to just become when you're healthy in your mind. It'll sting, but like Lou said, you're gonna get over it. You know, It may be something that you may be interested in somebody and you feel like, well, dang, how did she? What's up with me? And it bother you because you can't understand why that person rejected you because you feel like she should have really came after you. I mean, she was even looking at you. How she turned you down? But being secure in your mind and knowing who you are is going to help deal with that.
So for me, what Lewis and Dre said, what everybody said is true. I was very immature and I didn't know who I was. So I created this person. I went to the military and created this person, right? And then I became that person and I'm like, oh, this feels good. So it was always based a woman's when I was attracted to a woman, it wasn't anything related to her personality, her growth development, her past, her family, her morals, her integrity, none of that. It was either the looks and sex or both all the time. That was it. I was very shallow. And so I didn't have maturity. I was all over the place. I didn't know who I was. And so with that being said, I got rejected by certain women, which were spiritual women or strong women. And I didn't like it. I hated it. So I'm like, I'm showing up. I'm this all-American dude, decent guy. I got a job. I got benefits. But inside, my moral compass was pointing to hell. And so when they rejected me, I would lie to them and go back, go away, lick my wounds, act like I'm in the church, go to church a couple of times. I was lying, and I would go back and they would take me back, which they shouldn't have. They did because they thought I was in church. I wasn't. I would hurt them on purpose because I got rejected. I couldn't take rejection. I could not handle it, and so I didn't even like praying. I didn't even like going to church. Like I said before, I didn't even like looking at the stained glass at the church. I didn't want to smell the Bible. None of that. And so I forced myself to go to church. And as soon as I walk in, I'm looking around like flirting with the women in the church and the choir. And no, but rejection killed me. Rejection, it made me so upset that I would lie and fake to that so that I can get back to her and hurt her because she rejected me. So I didn't know who I was. I was very mature and I was very weak minded.
This is so good. I hope, ladies, you guys are taking notes. I hope there's some fellas out there that are watching or watch the replay, and you might find yourself relatable to one of the men that are speaking tonight. The reason why I asked this question because the experience that women have went through because men are not able to um, process rejection. And this is an important piece, and I hope that this topic is going to be covered during our men's summit next year to help our men understand, like Andre said, that you have to be okay with rejection. It's going to happen. It's a part of life, not just when it comes to meeting a woman that you're interested in, but even when it comes to a job offer or college, acceptance letter or, whatever it is you're trying to get into. Rejection is a part of life. And sometimes rejection is God's way of protecting us. I would have thought about a whole bunch of dudes I dodged. And I said, thank you, Jesus. Okay. Because the Lord was like, not this one. All right. So I think it's important for us to be able to become more aware. And tonight we want to make you aware of these different elements when it comes to relationships. So I want to go take a break real quick and play another game. This time, Dwayne is going to host. Never have I ever. Go ahead, take it away.
All right. Make sure I got it here. So the name of the game is Never Have I Ever. And so in this game, all you're gonna do is either you have or you haven't. And maybe I'll come to a couple people and see like, hey, why haven't you or why have you? And see what your responses are. All right, here we go. Never have I ever. Here we go. Never have I ever used a fake ID. So if you've never used a fake ID, you can throw your hand up if you've never used a fake ID. Well, we got one. Lee, what made you use a fake ID, man? You on mute. You on mute.
Getting in the clubs in San Diego.
Well, that's probably most people reasons. They're trying to get in somewhere that they shouldn't have been in.
Right,
I
right.
love it. I love it. All right. I love it. For those anybody who raised their hand for never have I ever, uh, maybe you want to explain. Just one person want to explain why you never used a fake ID.
Just not an unlawful person, and there was never a need to use a fake ID.
That was so funny.
I got a lot of older sisters. I never wanted to be where they were when I was when I was young. Anybody they age, I don't need to be around. That was my thing.
That's good. That's good. I was scared of Big Mona. That's my mother. So all right.
Yeah, I was too scared of getting in trouble.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, me too.
Or embarrassed, honestly, because if I get caught, then I'm embarrassed.
Yeah, that's the thing too. Like,
I'm
what
shy,
you doing in
I'm
here?
introvert. Y'all don't believe me, but I didn't want the spotlight on me.
Yeah, no, that's actually pretty good because that's what I was nervous of. The bouncer being like, "Yo, what you trying to do?" I'm like, "Whoa, my fault. I'm out of here. I don't want it back. Tear it up." All right. Never have I ever had sex on a first date. This is a real question here. This is like my God. Never have I ever. Never have I ever. Put your hands up again. Never have I ever. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. I'm telling the truth tonight. God save me. I don't know if I even want to ask anybody to explain. We're just going.
I don't know. You could dig into Louis V. I don't know. Push him a little bit. No,
You think I should push him a little bit?
I'm joking.
Since you volunteer, sir.
I don't know what just happened there. Can you hear me?
There you are. I was about to say you froze for a second. There you go.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. It all started spinning. It's weird.
Andre, Andre, I'm sorry.
That
Louis,
means
you about to
keep
say
on
something?
moving.
That's what that means. That's what that means.
Keep on moving.
That's what that means.
Keep on moving.
I'm gonna take that as exactly what that means. So we're gonna keep on moving. Next question. Never have I ever been on a blind date. I don't think. Yeah, I never was on a blind date. I kind of knew what the situation was before going. Okay, y'all been on blind dates. Like meaning, hold on. Let me ask you, hey Leon, can you go on mute? Because that's where the feedback coming from. So y'all who been on blind dates, you went not knowing what he looked like? Really? Pray for me, call me shallow. I couldn't do it.
I want to say yes and no. I was talking to the guy on the phone, and he was
didn't see
actually
what he looked like?
So one of my spiritual moms gave me his business card. His picture was on there. So does that?
So you did see him a little bit.
Kind of. He didn't even look like the picture.
Because I thought you was about to be like, well, my spiritual moms told me to do it. Listen, my mother and my godmothers, they all Jesus' second cousin. If they tell me to go on any date with anyone, what do they look like? Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
Wait, I did experience that. I just thought about it. I went to prom with somebody. My mom, it was bad. My mom friend seen how I looked and asked if her son can if her son can take me to his prom or whatever. And my mom said yeah. And I went, and that was the first time I met him.
Wow.
It was very awkward, but I made it work.
Wow. That's wow. Bless all of you who went on the blind date before you saw what the person looked like. My God. Never have I ever received a lap dance. Anybody hand went up? Next. Oh, is your hand up? Is your hand up, Vanessa? It's up. Okay. Never have I ever. What your husband saying next to you? He's saying something. What he saying? I can't hear him.
Saying with a face.
I'm saying she
face.
has. I gave
He gave me the dance.
Oh, okay.
Hey,
Okay.
I'm here for it.
I love these questions. Never have I ever pretended to be Never have I ever pretended to be on the phone. Oh, yes, yes, I definitely pretended. Y'all know what you're talking about. Somebody coming your way, you just don't feel like hello. Oh yeah, yeah. Hey, yeah. Ain't nobody on there. Never have I ever. You never did it. Didn't?
I still
Whoa.
do it.
You be
It's
like this.
different forms now.
You
Like you be on the phone with somebody.
Man, especially at the gas station, I'm pulling that phone out so quick. They walk up, a wedding ring, that stuff don't work no more.
Yeah,
You just gotta go, oh,
Uh-huh.
I gotta go. Then you get in the car and then you just pull off.
Wow.
Yeah, you got a
That's doing
you
that
got a
work.
wedding band on. They're asking you, "Are you happy?" Okay, so that does
Yes.
not
right.
work.
They say, can you have friends? Like,
Wow.
That
I
one
had
right
yeah.
somebody
there.
follow me around in the Kroger. I was like, "Are you stalking me?"
I'm on the phone with the police right now. Thank you very much. 911.
Right.
Okay.
Emergency.
Wow. Uh, here we are. All right. Question: what is trauma? From your own definition, not from Webster. Tell me what trauma is.
The therapists are in the room. Nina, Deanne,
The technical.
Andre, and yeah.
I would just say it's just having an imbalance. Something
Mm.
knocking you off balance. That's not that never recover. Like once it's knocked off balance, it never recovers from it. Therefore it causes damage because it's never stable.
Let me ask you a question. Can it recover? And I want to hear from Andre on that too. Can it? Is there?
Definitely.
Then
That's
let's
how
go
it's
back to
called
Nina.
healing.
Okay, yeah. Let's get some other responses before we, get in there.
Anybody else want to answer that? What is trauma to you?
Did they want the therapist to answer or
Yeah,
not?
I mean, go ahead. Yeah.
Oh,
I
okay.
mean,
So a trauma can be a disturbing experience and or physical injury.
Mm.
And I would add to
Man,
that, I'm not a therapist, but when I hear trauma, it's something that immobilizes you from moving on to your next potential,
next moment.
next moment.
Mm.
I like that word immobilize you. Stop you in your tracks,
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
causes you to not be able to function or meet your daily expectations or the needs. But it can be worked through and become easier, even if it's not totally healed. You'll have some techniques to kind of move through it or assist you to be able to have some form of
Yes.
uh, regular living pre trauma, or it may be a new way after.
Right. So we got trauma and then the impact of trauma. So what's being explained more so is the impact of it, but trauma itself.
Yeah. What is it? You great.
It's a disturbing experience and
Yeah.
disturbing experience. And then from that, the impact is what we see and what
Mm.
No, do
and
what you
what we
do.
think and what we do.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Here's a question while we're there, because I know we got some here, but I'm triggered when great minds start talking. I start giving follow-up questions. Is it possible that I can be um, living in a moved on state, but still possess triggers that resemble trauma that I quite have not dealt with? Can I give you an example? Um, let's say, how you saying that? Is it Deanne?
You're correct, Deanne. Yep.
Deanne, you got a guy, you meet him, y'all been dating for 2 years, and all of a sudden, you know, something happened at a family barbecue, and it's legit. Like, and I don't know if your mom is living or not. So yeah, okay, God rest her soul, but legit, like your mom was wrong. Or let's use your aunt. Your aunt was wrong, right? Your man was right. Your aunt was wrong. But your aunt is really driving her point of view because of what she feels. Now, this is a lady who has now been married 10 plus years. Look like everything is moving well, but you can identify that something about him has triggered her, and then you hear it come out of her vocals towards the situation because she isn't willing to move past it, forgive, make amends, and like all of that. Is it possible that someone could move forward still having trauma residing inside of them?
So that's the thing. I think that when we talk about the impact, it's the impact that has to be treated because it's like I can't go back in time and change whatever the experience was, whatever I witnessed or whatever happened to me. So I need to address the impact that it has on me in my everyday life, especially when triggers arise. Like that comes from like unpacking, okay, what about this experience? What about this thing right here that is triggering me? Is it this person? Is it the situation? Is it a smell? Is it a sound? What is it? That's what has to be managed because I can't necessarily avoid triggers. So what can I do when triggered? That's what we have to treat.
That's good. Anybody else want to own into that before we move forward? I know we're trying to stay on time. We good? All right. Here's this question then. Oh, come on, Lewis. Come on. You gotta hit that mute button. There you go.
My question is, but can you really manage triggers though? That's like saying anger management.
You can manage your response. You cannot. You can't change. Triggers are going to happen because the world is going to keep on going on.
I like the way you put that. I can agree with that. The response of it, I can agree with that. I like the way you. That was a good comment. Like the response.
That was a great. That was really great.
That's why setting boundaries is important. Absolutely. That's why I said setting boundaries is important. When I started my healing journey, I had to really think about what triggers me. And then number one thing I started to do was looking at, okay, creating healthy spaces, not walls, but healthy boundaries where I'm not isolating myself from people. Okay, but I know me. I know what I'm going through right now. And you cannot, explain healing because it's your journey. But the one thing I got from what you guys were saying was, again, creating that technique to help you manage the trigger, which is for me creating a healthy space, a safe space for me. Because one thing about me, I'm like, okay, if I don't feel safe, I am going to put up a boundary. All right, so that's just me.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Okay. For me, I had to learn how to regulate. She's right. Regulate the response, my emotions because I was always like, rah, And so my therapist, one day she said, and this is a therapist, this is a lady with a PhD, psychotherapist. Can you stop? This when I was smoking cigarettes. Can y'all hear me?
We can hear you now.
All right. She said, can you stop coming in here and smelling like cigarettes and chicken grease? I thought I got so mad. I was like biting down, like breaking my root canals because I was quick. The first thing I want to do is get mad and yell and scream. But this is a doctor with a PhD. And so she's like, Miss Walker, I see your anger. Just have a seat for a moment. And then she said, I shouldn't have said it that way because I was smoking cigarettes and eating chicken wings at 8 o'clock in the morning. I had a heart attack, so I was a loose cannon. And so like she said, I had to learn how to respond to that. And before, I was always getting mad, like, rah, rah, wouldn't nobody do anything about it. I wasn't in therapy, wasn't talking to doctors. So finally, when I get to a doctor's office, I get mad, and she taught me how not to get mad because I didn't like being wrong. That's what the root cause of it. I couldn't stand being wrong, and I was wrong as a backwards cat. And so I had to learn how to regulate my emotions, my response to triggers, because she triggered me. I was years after my marriage. I thought my ex-wife was very controlling, but I was just the person. I created her to who she had become, controlling, because she didn't trust me because I was a cheater. So she's going to treat me that way. But I was going to therapy with these anger issues, all because I didn't know how to manage my emotions, and I didn't like being wrong. And I was wrong. Even when I was cheating, I didn't think I'm like, I kissed somebody because you made me mad. I blamed everybody for all my, indiscretions. So I just had to learn. She's right. I had to learn how to react to the triggers going to be there.
Yeah, I think this is really good. I because we answered so much, I want to kind of bring us to this question right here. And the question would be, why is it so important for us to reflect on how we respond to traumas in our relationships, and not just romantic, but all of our relationships? Because I think there are so many families as well that suffer in these spaces because of not really reflecting upon what it is that is traumatizing them. So the question is, why is it important for us to reflect on how we respond to our traumas in our relationships, romantic and platonic? Come on, Dan, you ready? You waiting for somebody else to
I
go?
was trying to wait.
Should be on the other people. That's all.
I was trying to wait and let somebody else answer.
Go ahead, hit it.
So, okay. So this all goes back to being self-aware. So right from the beginning, right? So when we know, like we know our innermost thoughts, we can't expect anybody else to know. We can't expect them to guess. This is the things that we know that go on in our minds. So what's the priority? What's the priority? Am I trying to maintain this relationship, whether it's like you said, platonic, romantic, whatever it is? Is the goal to maintain this relationship or to just sit in my trauma and not move forward, or sit in my trigger or whatever and not work throughout that healing journey? Because if I'm not trying to save this relationship, then I'm going to always throw out that trauma response and not care how it impacts the other person, not care how it impacts the relationship. That's not sustainable long term. So either I'm gonna do the work on myself, right, and get that taken care of, work on that self awareness, or I'm just gonna have unhealthy relationships that are not sustainable.
Mm, that's good. Anybody else want to chime in?
Yeah, I want to hear the question one more time, though.
The question, one more time, my guy, is why is it important for us to reflect on how we respond to our traumas in both romantic and platonic relationships?
It's important if you take the time and understand that relationships are important. And if you are building relationships, then you are aware that there are situations that come up that needs to be discussed. And if you want to build and keep those relationships going, you're reflecting on what's going on to see where the breakdown, misunderstanding, miscommunication occurred, and what can we do to restore that connection or get that friendship or relationship back on track the way it was prior to whatever the issue was. If you are unaware, you really won't care. You really blame. You shift the blame and it tears down. And you'll eventually find yourself alone or in a group of toxicity among your 3 or 4 friends or your family that share the same traits. So if you're looking to be progressive, then that's where you will find it to be important to address your how you show up in your relationships.
Wow. Wow. That's so good. Anybody else? We're right. We're right. We're right at that time mark. Anybody else want to add?
I just want to say how you show up is very important in any relationship. And so people often ask me, how are you able to create, and formulate relationships with multiple people? Is because I know who I am. I'm confident, I'm secure in who I am as an individual. And then I'm also aware of other people. That's very important. Being aware of how you show up for other people. Am I a people pleaser? Not anymore, because I've set some boundaries, but I do know how to show up, when to show up, if I can. So I think it's very important. Again, it takes maturity to do that, to be able to move like that, and use discernment, because we don't use discernment when it comes, or our intuition when it comes to building either. So that's something I would definitely say tonight. If you are struggling in that area when it comes to friendships, because I know a lot of women who say they don't have friends. I'm like, okay, well, the scripture does say that in order to have friends, you have to first show yourself friendly. That's anybody. So you need to really do that self discovery. Okay, where does the issue lie? Does it really lie with me, or am I just always pointing the blame at somebody else? Just like what Andre was saying. So I think it's important that, again, you all take the time to rediscover yourself. If you are dealing with some issues when it comes to communicating with others that you haven't talked to in a while, that you need to reconcile. There's some relationships that you do need to reconcile. There are some that you, of course, can walk away from depending on the situation. But I don't want to go deep into that. But I want to just say that it's important that you know yourself, be secure in who you are, so that you begin to become more aware of the people around you and how you show up when you go into 2024.
Woo, I love that. That was good. That was real good, sis. I'm so proud of you. My bad, y'all. I just had a moment. I just had a moment.
You have more than a moment. You outside. You are
Oh, I'm
outside. You are out. You are in the out. Okay.
good. I'm sorry. I'm had an emergency. I had lost track of time. Can y'all hear
Okay.
me? Okay. But I definitely agree
Dwayne, we
with
can't hear
Nick.
you. Dwayne was talking smack.
Oh no,
Dang.
no, I said she coming through. She coming through. She said loud and clear. She is coming through.
Oh, I am coming through. So y'all
Yes,
can hear.
indeed. Yes, indeed.
No, but I definitely agree with Nick. I think eventually what would be good is to have a friendship conference, because people forget the value of friendship, right?
Mm.
No matter whether you single, married, you got kids, you're going to need those friends in order to help you get through life. And in order to have good friends, you have to be that friend to yourself first, by being honest with yourself and being okay with not being perfect and being okay with your faults. So if you're like that with yourself, you're able to treat other people like that as well. Like, if a person come to you, you're not gonna be judging them because they not like you, or that they got issues. We all got issues. It's all about being willing to, not take things personally, and to be able to respect where other people are at, and to be able to be there for them in those moments, regardless of what type of control we feel like we have. If that makes sense. I hope y'all heard all of that.
No, we did. And you know what, Vanessa, we had a conversation about friendships. Was it last week or a couple of days ago? We were just talking about that. And now you talking about a whole conference. Girl, let me get through this.
Right. That was a couple days
Look,
ago.
Yeah.
Vanessa,
But
you
it's,
own to something.
yes. But it is important. Something that Nancy, good to see you tonight. And Giles is on here. He came to our in-person conference back in October. Good to see you tonight in the chat. She said the conversation for the purpose of is the purpose of understanding, comprehension, and clarity, so you can know how to move forward. It's very important that we do get clarity, understand where we are, just like these situations with these men. No, get clarity. What are we doing? Even in your friendships, what are we doing? Where are we? Like, it's okay to do evaluations. I know a lot of people cringe when it comes to friendship evaluation, uh, relationships with, romantic relationships. Where are you? It's important that we do communicate those things. It's important. I don't want to give too much away, but just think about relationships when it comes to like going to the doctor for a physical. You got to do a check in. right? So I want you to think about, I'm not going too deep into that. You got to come to the conference to get more of that. What I mean by treat your relationship like a physical. You're going to get checked. All right. Look at your relationships. Where do people fall? Who's an associate? Who's the inner circle friend? Like you want to really identify who those people are because not everybody is designed to go with you when you're as you're moving forward and progressing. So you got to really be mindful of that. I don't want to keep talking and giving y'all stuff. Y'all got to come to the conference. So you done, Dwayne? You want to add anything before I close us out?
No, I mean, I think this is great. I love conversations like this. I always like to hear a lot of different people's perspective, and it was some great perspectives here tonight. Great minds here tonight. As always, as I say, we don't become better until we really take a hard look at ourselves. And I think Deanne and both Andre tonight really harped on that, and even Lois did as well. Harped on the fact that like, hey, before you can do a lot of things in life, you got to look at the good, bad, ugly, and indifference about you, right? And I will say this: even if you look at the bad parts about you or the indifferent parts about you, it doesn't mean that you're bad for what is to come. It just means that there is honest work that you have to do. And I think people need to understand this. Or at least I am not going to do this. I can't speak for nobody else. I will never demonize you where you are. I just hope that you see where you are and recognize where you need to go. And for me, that's more important than anything. Many people don't talk about this, but the Sadducees and the Pharisees, they were individuals who wanted to hold up religious jargon and religious ways because they didn't understand the love of Jesus, the depth of Jesus. And whenever I look at that, I never look at where people are. I look at what they can become and where they can go. And keeping that at the forefront of my mind does not excuse what is reality, but it also gives me perspective to how we get them to the future. And so, if I encourage you tonight, that those who may be watching, you have a future. There's no secret about that. You have a future. The question becomes, are you ready to get to that future? And not a future of like, because I'm about to get houses, money, car, land, all of that, but a future of like, because I'm just going to be a healthy person. I'm going to be a healthy individual. I'm going to be a wholesome individual, and be able to deal with conflict, be able to love, be able to smile, be able to cry, be able to rejoice. And those things are important.
Thank you so much, Dwayne, for that. Did anyone else have anything they wanted to share? Any closing? Anything else before I? Everybody's good? All right. So I don't want to delay the time. We've been over an hour. I haven't done a show in over an hour in a while. So I want to say thank you to everybody who came on tonight. Before we go, I do want to say that my website is officially open. We are officially registering people for our March conference. I'm super excited. If you want to know more about the conference, you guys can head on over to www.neekspeaks.com. I'm excited because we're going to take this conference virtually this year. Not only that, we have a few of our events that will be virtual. And of course, we have one in-person event, and that's our Strong Friend Therapy. Information will be forthcoming after Christmas. So I will be sharing so much with you guys coming into 2024. I'm being pushed outside my comfort zone like all the way. So I need all the prayer warriors who want to see God continue to move and progress in helping people create healthy relationships. Y'all continue to pray and pray this way because it's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot that goes on behind the scenes that a lot of people don't know. But a lot of praying, consecration, meditation is happening. I want to make sure that I am delivering my best, and that also that I have the right people in the right position to deliver what God has given them to give to the people to impact those in 2024. So tonight you have witnessed, I will say, a new dawning with all the people that are on tonight. They will all be a part of all of our events, most of our events that's coming up in 2024. I want to say thank you to Dwayne for again saying yes to the call. I appreciate you. He has a lot going on. I know he didn't share anything, but put out a shameless plug of what you have going on with the drive. You guys still have that going on right now?
Yeah, I mean, not quite. We met our budget, but if people want to give into it, they can. Man, I really do have a lot going on, and I can't really publicly say some of it. I'll say this: never in my wildest dreams did I think that um, the things of the political arena would be on my radar, and so the Lord has just moved in those things, and just ready to see what the next few years will bring. I'm grateful for you. I'm grateful for all of you. I've met a few of you a couple of times on some of the other podcasts that I've been on, and so it's always great having conversations with great minds, godly minds, smart minds, intelligent minds, and it's a reason I hop on those things, because ignorance will have you doing stupid things, dumb things. And I'm not talking about just sin, I'm talking about saying dumb things. And so it's nice to have people who get the perspective of Jesus, but get the perspective of life, and marry the two together, and make everything all right for all of us to digest, eat it, come together, and grow in it. And so I love people like that. So thank you guys so much. If you would like to give to our Christmas job, you can give to it should be at the bridge, at the bridge, be more. Okay, that's how you know I'm from Baltimore. We don't be all of my urban cities be like the Shy, be more, uh, ATL, all the urban cities, all our cultural cities. But if you want to do that, you can give to the bridge, be more, or yeah, because the pay it forward is too much over there. But give to the bridge, Baltimore, the bridge, be more, $. Thank you guys, appreciate it.
All right, thank you so much for sharing that. Anyone else have a same play? Oh my God, a blameless, shameless plug. Jesus, get it out. Anyone else have anything going on they want to share with the people? No, Leon, you have a book?
You on mute?
Okay, you're on mute.
My fault. You mean the current one or a new one?
The new one. Yeah, the new one,
Oh,
right?
yeah. Well, I got another one coming out in a couple of months, but it's an autobiography. But yeah, my book, The Seven Love Traits. And I found out again, Neek, the company that I was ordering from is shut down. They're in Columbus, so they never even said anything. They got my money, all this stuff. So I'm gonna get you yours. This is the second time around, but I just found out that they had shut down. So yeah, my book is still out. And
Okay.
I've been donating books to people for the last year or so. The Seven Love Traits. It's on Amazon, Barnes and Noble, and it's all about narcissism and how it starts for me, how it, where I went and therapy and my family, all this stuff, and how I was affected. So yeah.
All right. Well, y'all heard it first here. Um, Thank you, everyone, for again coming on tonight. Those who are still hanging on, make sure you guys go on over to neekspeaks.com to register for our March conference, Overcoming Generational Trauma. You do not want to miss it. And of course, I'm gonna come back on here live to give you guys again a sneak peek of each speaker, what they're going to be sharing during our March conference, and of course the others to come. So make sure you guys again go there. And of course, we're going to be giving some free perks. So make sure you guys go on over, join the email list, and you'll get a lot of resources. Again, I have a lot I'm working on. So make sure you guys go on over and connect with us today. And you all have a wonderful, amazing Christmas. It's like next month, not next week, but the following week. Have a great Christmas, Happy New Year, and I'll talk to you all in my next video.